Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Good morning to you, Lagos. Welcome to Dailies, the second part. I'm Sheriff Quadry.
And I'm Jimi. Disu. Good morning.
Yep, let's start. Let's start with the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The politics page. Lagos Assembly crisis. Miranda survives as Tinubu fails to meet GAC team.
Well, all said and done. I think we have to start getting used to the fact that Miranda is going to be a speaker. Not much has changed, but something occurred to me that in the major 4 or 5 dramatis personae, Miranda is the only bona fide indigenous Lagosian at that level. Think it out in your mind, and that will tell you something. And she's a princess. Okay, so the House is going to resume today. It says that members of the State House of Assembly are billed to resume normal sitting today. Notice has been sent, and the lawmakers are expected to reconvene at 11 a.m. Yesterday, my good friend he calls me Egbon, my good bro. He says Fuadoki. He wrote a letter to the party, and it is reported here that he tasked stakeholders on decorum in the resolution of the crisis in the State House of Assembly following the removal of the Speaker. The letter went viral yesterday. And he said something that I'd like to bring attention to. He said, I understand that this decision may have come as a surprise to many, and it is evident that a very few members of the leadership and indeed the party membership have feelings of discontent regarding the manner in which it was executed. It is important to acknowledge that perhaps there were missteps in engaging with party leadership prior to this decision. However, we must recognize that the decision has been made and it stands as a fait accompli. Another party official, party faithful, Dr. Segun Owosoya, also wrote a letter, and after, I think he wrote his letter to the president, and he said this is how he ended it. Permit me to humbly reiterate, based on my understanding of years of monitoring the trajectory of the leadership, even from the labor room of the birth of the merger of the APC, where I evidently served as a strategist to the chairman of the committee, that you have always led the way when the majority seek your leadership, as in this case. A great father that you are will not ignore the outcry of 37 kids to pacify one who, going by all indications, including public opinion, has abused the unique privilege he got from you. So I think it's a fait accompli. The president himself, he left yesterday for France.
Yeah.
Now, Bayo Onanuga said he left for France on a private visit, and from France, he's going to Addis Ababa. But he said when he's in France, he's going to have a meeting with Macron. What has his private visit got to do with Macron? Bayo Onanuga needs to explain that part to us. He said he's going on a private visit, and then he says he's going to meet the French president. It must be some form of contradiction, or do you understand what's going on?
Yes, I understand where you're coming from. If it's a private visit, even if the two of them meet over
yes, I don't need to. Yes,
we don't have to know about that. I mean, it's a private meeting. It's a private meeting, right? But if you're announcing that he is going to be speaking with the French Prime Minister, then obviously French president. Then obviously,
in fact, it leads to all kinds of what Bayo has done now is to stir people's interest. If he's gone on a private visit, why is he meeting the French president? I think that's the story for another day. Let's just delay this morning. I don't know who will rein the president in for him to please sit down and get the job done here. I don't know, but I also suspect it might have to do with health issues. But if he's going for his health, you should simply say so, rather than try to couch it. I think this contradiction came from trying to couch it in a manner to make it legitimate. It's legitimate for him to go for it. We knew his health status before we voted for him.
Oh, we had an idea.
Or we had an idea before it was said he was voted for. Not that we voted for. I don't know if we voted for him. Or before he won the election.
Before he won the election.
Put it that way.
But coming back to Lagos, though, what? Because I also saw in the papers yesterday that the lawmakers wanted to write to, maybe they've written to the president apologizing for what happened, at the. I mean, that almost sounded as though the president didn't know that they were going to do it, or it was all part of the play to make it look as though they didn't get the blessing of the president before they did what they did. That's how it came across to me, because for a position as powerful as the Speaker of the Lagos State Assembly, for a position as influential, as pivotal to as the Lagos State Assembly Speaker, I do not think that kind of operations would have taken place without.
I think that whether you like it or not, there's a growing rebellion in the APC. And that's the manifestation of what you have seen.
Are they all preparing for the retirement?
Whether he know about it or not. No, it's because that power doesn't last forever. Okay? And like I said the other day jokingly, the kids have become men. And therefore, the various interests. And I made a remark this morning that those who are in the tripod of all this, the princess is the only bona fide Lagosian. That will tell you another thing entirely. And she's a princess. So various interests are coming to play. And what I think is happening is that some powers are trying to provide a soft landing to save face for certain persons. That's my thinking. But there has always been a growing rebellion, but it's been managed. Where have you forgotten so quickly the problem of Baba Sowipe that emerged about 8 years ago? There's a limit to which you can order people around, and I'm one of those who believe that even if he knew about it, he probably wanted to stop it, but he couldn't. But then again, in politics, you are not sure. Most of what we are saying here, really and truly, what's said anywhere at all, is speculation. But if you read Fuad Oki's letter, and Fuad Oki, whether you like it or not, is a powerful man in the party.
Yes, he is.
If he's writing in that form, it tells you a lot. It tells you a lot.
All right. Let's, yes, but then again, everything could be a play, actually. Everybody could have a role to play in the play to make it look real, believable. But it's okay. We're going to move on to Daily Trust now on page 19. Because really, no politician wants to lose their base or a powerful or a strong ally or anything.
The question is that...
So they have to do everything to make sure that ally remains in the party.
Is the principal that powerful to stop that in the coming months?
In the coming months?
Yeah, in the coming months. Let's say there's some recalcitrant, whatever. Is he that powerful now to do so?
I think he's more powerful than ever.
Yes, superficially. But in real terms, a lot of things are going to play out in 2027. That much I can say. A lot of things are going to play out in 2027. Don't forget that all these things are about self-interest. And the state of poverty in the nation now has made all these issues become a bit more sensitive. So the truth is, everybody from top to bottom, like Buhari would say, has to gauge very well before you start ditching out others.
Okay.
I don't like the way you're looking at me. I might leave this way to go to. I might feel the urge to go to the look. I'm quite suspicious. You think I'm speaking in parables?
It's too much wisdom.
Yeah, but I told you, don't forget that one again. I said that is the only bona fide indigent. There's an underlying fight for indigenship, and that should not be discarded. What are the traditional rulers going to tell their people at the local end? It's a whole, I could spend the whole of 3-4 hours, the various interests that have come into this, including mine.
You have an interest.
I have an interest, yes, no.
Would you like to share?
No.
You don't want to share?
No, it's inside my stomach.
How are we going to know that you're telling
Open the
the truth?
stomach. I can get you a knife. Very soon, everybody will stand up to be counted in things like this. We'll know where everybody stands.
Let's go to the trust, the editorial of the trust on page 19. Now isn't the time to immortalize Tinubu. It's almost like the trust listened to you and they heard what you said. I'm telling
you, but I get that sense when I hear these editorials. Apparently, it's very possible. It's very possible. Sometimes I get things. Apparently, I didn't even know. Now they're talking about naming things after the president with particular reference to the Bola Ahmed Tinubu barracks. And the editorial says that in 2003, General Theophilus Danjuma set up a Mobility Johnson-led committee to harmonize policies for the naming of military barracks and cantonments. And the committee recommended at that time that military barracks should be named after officers who have passed on, not the living. And at that time, the committee recommendation was upheld, and approval was granted for renaming the renamed Sani Abacha Barracks, Fort IBB, Yakubu Gawan, and Gado Nasco Barracks. They were all changed to Mogadishu, Niger, Mambila, and Lungi Barracks, all located in Abuja. So the military has contradicted itself here. I personally didn't like it. The military barracks and warships and things like that are named after renowned, brave military personnel who have passed on. And so the military has contradicted itself, and the trust has brought this to the fore. And it says that whilst Nigerians welcomed the report of the Mobility Johnson-led committee, and which that the policy was retained, at least to protect and preserve the image of the Nigerian military. Okay? And that they said that the fact that President Tinubu personally performs the inauguration of these immortalization ceremonies suggests his passion for naming edifices after him. His refusal to either reject the offers or reverse them where he was not privy to the process further gives credence to public insinuation that he has a fixation for self-praise. Okay, something was also named after his wife. The Nigerian nation should not be subservient to the whimsical desires of an individual or a select few. As a country, Nigeria is too big to revolve around a personality. And they conclude that we should stop naming public things after those who are alive and look for other reasons for naming certain things. I didn't particularly like the idea of having the Bola Tinubu barracks. I don't see how that is going to inspire troops or anything. But we have lost, to be honest with you, we have lost it when it comes to giving honor. Just give honor to, we follow the money. Look at all the award ceremonies that you have. It's always governors, MD. We want to give award to governors. Instead of having one governor of the year, you give 4 or 5. Surely that tells you there's some racketeering going on. Why they also fall for it, I can't understand.
Of course, they knew, they're aware.
They're aware. And that's why these days all these things don't matter. Chieftaincy titles, national honors, Very sad. But this editorial is top notch, and it's from the Trust, and the headline is that now isn't the time to immortalize Tinubu.
What does this say about the military itself?
Oh, the military has been civilianized. Is there a word like that?
I'm not sure.
It's been civilianized.
Let's use it for this morning.
Let's use it for this morning. The military is no longer the military I used to know when I was younger. Definitely not. Definitely not. So all kinds of things have been eroded. I hope it doesn't include merit. And the stories we hear are not inspiring at all. They're not inspiring at all. But that's the story of Nigeria generally. The politicians have messed up everything. That much I can say boldly. Completely. Look at yesterday, another one decamped from PDP to APC. His reasons for decamping we don't know, but your guess is as good as mine. To the point that he was even threatening his governor, who is from his own party.
Yes, I read.
He said that he shouldn't come. The reason is simple. If the governor should come, the governor becomes the leader of the party in that state. So they all know the game they are playing. And I'm hoping, and there's a short clip that somebody sent to me yesterday where El Rufai, whatever you think of him, made a very, very solid statement that I wish people would go and listen to. Otherwise, all what we are doing is child's play.
I want to also talk more about the barracks naming and everything. Do you think the president should have rejected it?
Definitely. I'm surprised that the military high command would have suggested it to him in the first instance. It smacks of psychophancy. Yes, now. When you already had a committee and it had been accepted that it should not be named after the living but the dead. When you had the something Eisenhower, that's the military tradition. It's after the dead. You name ships, you name barracks, you name Fort Knox, you name them after those who have had a fantastic career in the military. It's a source of inspiration. You now name it after a current president.
Do you also think it's disconnected to the retirement package and all of that?
Mark Obama.
I'm just asking.
Sheriff, Mark Obama.
Sir?
Mark Obama. As you see now,
just one sentence.
My clothes are well ironed. Don't let me have to come here. But on a serious note, the military is no longer. It's been politicized. That is my conclusion. And if I were to talk like a full-grown adult, I probably won't blame the military leaders because they all want to survive. Read the editorial. Read that paragraph that I read again. If I were president, do you know how many things they tried to name after Fashola in his time? He rejected all of them. Ask yourself, do you know the origin of the title of the chief justice title called Ashiwaju? All other governors are here before the advent of Ashiwaju. The Ashiwaju title is there waiting for them. Ashiwaju, but he was the one who turned it into an institution, I gathered. So it's he should have rejected it. Even the one that was given to his wife, he should say to them, no, but everybody has a style. Everybody has a style. I'm not into self-glorification. I don't believe in it. And I don't believe, in reality, it serves any purpose. Your sycophants will continue to hail you. The moment you're out of office,
they move on to the next person.
Move on to yes. How many things were named after Abacha in the past? How many are existing now? It will come and go.
Let's go take the metro page of, or the pages of the Punch newspaper.
This is the story of that the monarch who beat up he beat 73-year-old. I understand he's been remanded. He couldn't meet his bail conditions, which were very, very light, if you ask me. And the story here says that Femi Falana has taken up the case for the man who was assaulted. And he says that he's going to handle the case. But I also then thought that the Ogun State government needs to do a rethink about the 6 months because this case will not be over in 6 months. Maybe it should be suspended indefinitely till the outcome of the case, at the very least, at the minimum. That should have happened. And of course, I want to remind us about the wake-up call, how some of our traditional rulers are becoming monsters. Like Yoruba say, Tentu Delari, there are quite a few of them who are into this in various manners, especially when it comes to issues of land. Ironically, where you have a land use decree. So it's left to those in power to do the needful, so that we are not building up tyrants. If this thing continues in another 4 or 5 years, then we're going to have, either we'll have a rebellion of the people, or we'll have a totally subservient whatever at the whims and caprices of the traditional rulers, to the point that one day they might even topple the politicians. Yes. So that's what we have there. He'll perfect his bill and he'll get out of correction. I don't know why I keep calling it jail. By the way, this obituary is here for my people in Lagos. We lost Mr. Bode Emmanuel. He died sometime last week or so, and he will soon be buried. But the obituary is here. Mr. Bode Emmanuel.
Okay. Now, straight to our next story. It's in the Vanguard newspaper. Page 2 of the in fact, let's start. Yes, page 2 of the Vanguard. We have 2 stories here. We're going to take this first one. Tinubu departs for France on private visit ahead of AU summit in Ethiopia. Taking that, let me add.
I want to add something to it.
Okay.
As usual, he left with the same ceremony every time. Line up, chief of staff.
Maybe it's protocol.
What kind of protocol wastes people's time in such a manner, given the frequency of his travel anyway? It can't be sacrosanct. He can't take a chopper from Jordan Barracks and hop on his plane and go, more so since it's a private visit. What kind of protocol? If it's protocol, then we have to review it. It's time wasting, and it presents the image of people who are not ready to get the work done. We waste so much time with frivolities. Every time the president wants to go on trip, where how many times do you do that? That's how it's not so
yes, let's take our second story. The second story here reads how government officials paid for one hospital project 5 times.
Let me just read this and set you thinking. Chairman of ICPC, Dr. Musa Aliu, narrated how one hospital project paid for 100%, by government officials 5 times without the facility being built. Check that out. A hospital project got money allocated 5 times, 100% allocation, and as we speak today, the hospital hasn't been built. Aliu spoke at a media engagement with northern media executives and bureau chiefs in Abuja yesterday. Said the above case was only one of the very many instances of endemic corruption in the country. I want to imagine that a hospital will probably be the size of Luth, and the project was paid for 100%, money allocated in the budget, and was allocated 5 times repeatedly. Every year, 5 times. Yet, as we speak, the land is vacant. Who do we hold responsible for this? Who do we hold responsible for this? When I saw this, I was a very, very sad man. I was a very, very sad man. I wish the ICPC man had listed those who were collecting these monies. Surely it's something they can find out.
Of course.
5 times sheriff. Same. And that is one out of so many. I heard that the original contract for the Lagos-Abeokuta, Lagos-Ibadan Express Road was supposed to go with street lights. It never happened. And that subsequent governments continued to allocate light for lighting up that express, and it's still not lit. So if you have a hospital 5 times. Imagine every time you look at the budget, they are buying vehicles. You ask yourself, do you buy vehicles every year? They are allocating the same sums, graded in buying vehicles. Do you buy the same? Do you buy vehicles every year, or you're supposed to buy them at the minimum every 4 years?
Yeah,
I don't like it when you suddenly go quiet sometimes.
I wanted to.
I'm getting suspicious.
Sometimes when you say some things,
I think I should give you a body set before we sit down here.
Wait now,
because I get a fear that you might. That's why I'm always watching your hands. You put your hands in your pocket.
I wanted to say that yes, I've heard that people, especially top government officials, they change their cars, senators, other reps every 4 years and all of that. But in my mind, I'm thinking a 4-year-old car, in my mind, is still as good as new.
That's a 2021 car. When people like you and I are struggling for 2008.
That's what I was trying to process. Like,
not just that, Sheriff.
These guys,
then they are budgeted for every year.
Every year. Wow, people have money in this country. So we're going to quickly mention this story because we treated it last week. Police apprehend hotelier for alleged sodomy.
Yes, the hotelier has been named. They say he's the managing director of Leuven Empire Hotel and Suites in Ejigbo. Where is his name here now?
I saw his name yesterday.
I saw his name yesterday. The name is not there, but he's been apprehended, and we think that justice will take its course. We'll keep an eye on this particular case. I hope our colleagues will keep an eye on it to make sure that the boys get justice.
Okay, let's anchor here. What's happening at 9?
Oh, I don't know. You don't listen to high life music, but Yinka Alakija, one of the strong motivators of the high life music genre, passed on. 77. He passed on. He died 7 in the morning, and by 2 p.m. he was done.
Fantastic.
He had gone. Yes.
Fantastic.
So I'm getting a few people where you get it's more for people of my age who will appreciate this. But I'd like to give honor to whom it is due. It's a practice we must have in this country, not just the rich. When I say Yinka Alakija, everybody wonders who he is. We will tell you who he is by 9 o'clock and the contribution he has made to this country. Yes.
That's okay. That's fine. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Yes. We're going to leave the studio now for Coffee Battles for the continuation of the morning Crossfire Lagos. Thank you for being a part of it. Don't go away. We have much more for you on the morning Crossfire. Stay here, please.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.